It is the moment you have been waiting for. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Pixel Wars! The long-awaited battle, one-on-one, between Pixelette, the Valorant streamer, and FVPixels, partial owner of Formula Velocity. I'm your host, Gods Among Us, and I hope you stay with me the entire time for this 5-round series. We're waiting now for our two competitors to join the lobby and get everything up and running, but until then, hold tight and wait for the start of the Pixel Wars. In the red corner, we have Pixelette. Pixelette, the Valorant streamer and Skal esports creator. She's also a pro Lego builder and wants to beat her pro driver sisters at drifting. That is Pixelette in the red corner, driving for Ferrari. In the green corner, we have FVPixels, the amateur sim racer and Formula Velocity owner, as well as pro door collector on the Minecraft SMP. They once got a league racing podium over 4 years ago, and with it being a 2-horse race this weekend, today, those numbers will be increasing. We have a one-shot qualifying session for this first round at Silverstone before we go into the several 5-lap races carrying on throughout the rest of the night. It took so long that my controller batteries died. Pixels did tell me earlier that he is experimenting with the assists. So if he looks worse than the usual, it's not his fault. Well, I think we all know how this is going to go, folks. So I pull up the list Pixel sent me of what the events tonight are going to be. So, of course, the Pixel Wars is a 5-round event where these two intrepid drivers will compete against each other to see who is the best pixel. Honestly, if I knew what was happening, it wouldn't be quite as fun. And that will make it even better for all of us. While we wait, Formula Velocity, for you, if you are watching for the first time, we have an app. As you can see there, just use that code on the Formula Game Companion app to see all the stats for our league on both the Formula 1 games and the Forza Motorsport games as we say goodbye to F1 23 with this prestigious event. Let's call them donuts. As Katie sets pole with a 208.498. This is going to be fun, isn't it? Now, I'm going to see if we're allowed to do this. Nope. Keep doing that. So, Katie is on pole with Pixels alongside in second. This is going to be fun. we start in Silverstone for the first of our 25 laps of racing. Thought that happened. We may have to go back to the issue screen based on that message in chat. What is going on? It's like the universe doesn't want us to say goodbye to F1 23. So we're going to see if everything is working here for the 5 lights in Silverstone. Green flag in the air in Silverstone. It looks promising. There we go. We have throttled. The racing can get underway. Katie does have a drive-through penalty for jumping the start, giving Pixels the advantage early on. Down the inside, Pixels goes. Heading on to the Wellington, I think this is Wellington. Oh, round Pixels goes. Not what he would have wanted to do. Why is it so quiet? There we go. Hopefully that should be, like, hearable. We're just on board with Katie. What's known as Pixelette. Going through the Silverstone circuit for the first time in about half an hour. Watching the Ferrari. Don't think they've got enough of a gap for the drive-through penalty. Unless there's another issue for Pixels, but I think it'll be reasonable for Katie to take the drive-through penalty on this lap. And indeed, they shall. Let's hope they don't speed. Looks like they've got it stopped nicely. It'll be all about how through they go. If Pixels gets much of a gap. Obviously, Silverstone a very slow pit lane and a very long pit lane. So it's going to be all about how much Pixels gets through on Katie. Looks to be a fair while as it stands. Obviously no pit stop, just trundling through the pit lane. Going to feel like an eternity in that Ferrari. I say that as Pixels has lost the car. Seeing another spin for Pixels. This is letting Katie back into this. I mentioned it earlier, but Pixels is using less assists than usual in order to make the racing a little bit closer. It's going to be all about whether or not Pixels can keep it in a straight line for long enough for Katie to stay alongside or within the battle. Watching the Aston Martin fly through the twisty middle sector here at Silverstone, one of the premier homes of Formula One. Go down the Hanger Straight into Stowe. For the Aston Martin, about a 10-second gap between the two competitors. As we see Pixels running slightly wide into Stowe, keeping all 4 wheels on the track, however. All 4 wheels on the track is going to be what you want to do around here, because any penalty can be quite deadly in a 5-lap race. We go on to lap 3 for the Aston Martin. DRS enabled, but I'm not sure if that's going to really have an effect for this first race. As we see another spin for Pixels, he's going to want to cut them out. As we see Katie gaining hand over fist as it stands. Five second gain for Katie with that spin for Pixels. It's going to be all about keeping it on the track in the right direction for the Aston Martin driver. Keeping it nice and steady, extending the gap out by a second. Be reminiscent of the gap war between Hales, Broughton and Kearney last week in the Season 6 finale. We go on possibly the worst onboard camera angle I've ever seen in this game. Pixels down onto the DRS straight now, onto the hanger straight. Coming up to 2 laps to go, you see the Ferrari in the background, not quite gaining on Pixels. And even though the title can be sealed in 3 rounds, we will do all 5 just for a laugh, because the final 2 rounds are voted by you, the viewer. We've already had 1 voted, that being round 4. Those in chat might know the track. I wish for no spoilers in case you'll set fastest lap that time round. Obviously, Pixels did spin early on in this tricky infield section, and then round 5 of this 5-race series will be decided by Pixelette's chat. See Pixels taking it steady in this middle sector. He's obviously come a cropper here before this on the other couple of laps. Obviously, it is a one-on-one battle, and I don't think this will go down for victories within the app. I think this will be a separate showcase section. For now, it looks like Pixels is controlling this race, getting time over Katie. Rip DRS board. It's going to be all about this final lap, though. Will Pixels be able to keep it in a straight line? Looks like he's losing a lot of time in Maggots Beckett and Chapel. Katie gaining a good couple attempts there that time round. Through into club now for the Aston Martin. Starting the final lap. This Pixels sets another fastest lap. These two have been trading fastest lap throughout the entire session so far. Pixels very lucky there to keep that headed in the right direction. Katie does not get fastest lap this time round. Big lockup from the Aston Martin. Just taking it steady. It's the old line of, you can always beat yourself. Pixels is going to want to not have that to be his fate in this first round. Through into the Luffield complex. Just keeping it steady, keeping it clean, keeping it pointed in the right direction. And that's all Pixels can do as he heads down the straight towards Cops. These two avoiding the infamous collision in 2021. Now through into Maggots Beckett and Chapel for the final time for the Aston Martin. Ever since that jump start, it seemed... Oh! That could be commentator's curse if Pixels can't get it corrected quickly. Katie is gaining massively. Katie can see Pixels. Just about a second now. We go on board. Is there enough time? I'm not entirely sure. Pixels keeping the gap over a second, jumping on the curbs. I think he's done just enough despite that little mistake at the end. Coming through the final corner now, Pixels is going to take round 1 of the Pixel Wars. So FVPixels claims the first leg of the 5-race series. We're now going to be moving on to, I believe it's going to be France. No qualifying this time round as we go from Northamptonshire to Marseille, or just outside of Marseille. Here in Paul Ricard. Just waiting for our drivers to get their setups up to how they like, get them readied, and move on to the... We are doing qualifying, okay. That wasn't in the description, Pixels. I'm officially taking away your first point. Can't actually do that, don't worry. So just watch qualifying here. It is near Marseille. Good, I am correct. We see Katie currently going fastest through Sector 1. I believe Pixels has just edged ahead now. Yes, he has. Just see him going down this long Mistral straight, obviously broken up by the chicane in the middle. Just see that green Aston Martin flicking its way through the middle sector. It's going to be all about the bravery through this final few corners here at Le Castellet. And it's going to be all about keeping it on the track as well. See Pixels now going through the final few corners. Going to be easily done for the Aston Martin driver. A little bit loose on the exit of the corner, but he's going to be running down towards the line and getting pole position for the second round of this championship. There we go, once again, Pixels taking pole with Katie. Lining up alongside for this race in France. Five lights are on. Massive jump start for Pixels. Green flag in the air in France. What was that? Pixels with the lead, but of course he does have that penalty to deal with. Going to be all about dealing with that pit lane excursion. Obviously here at the Castellet, it's a lot shorter pit lane and a lot quicker pit lane than in Substance. So if there is a track to get a drive for penalty, well, preferably none of them, but this one is more than good enough. As we just see the red car in the background. Will Pixels be able to get the gap? To be able to come in and out without being jumped by the Ferrari? Just watching this green Aston Martin fly through the tarmac here in France. Just keeping all four wheels in the right direction through this flowing final sector. Not good for racing, mind, but flows really nicely. About an 8-second gap now between these two. Pixel's going to be diving into the pit lane this lap to serve his drive-through penalty. A little bit of a lock-up onto the final line. It's now going to be all about the gap between the two of them. It was 8 seconds as Pixels entered to go on board with the Ferrari. Going to start flying past now. Sets the fastest lap, and it's going to be all about that gap. You see Pixels in the background. Apologies, I seem to have given myself hiccups. And that's going to make commentating fun. So we see the Ferrari, 12-second gap Will they be able to keep it? To equalise in this session. If either of the backup streamers are watching, do you be on standby, please? As we do see Pixels gaining time, hand over fist on the Ferrari. Gained another second now. Purple sector for the Ferrari of Pixelette, attempting to equalise in this battle. In that car number 5, red 5, if you will. 5 on a Ferrari. Where have I seen that one before? 7.5 seconds now. It's me all about how Pixelette can defend from the fast charging Pixels. Coming across the line now, see Pixels in the background, a little bit wide. The fastest lap for Pixelette with 140.330. Pixels going 1.7 seconds quicker though. DRS is enabled, the gap is over 5 seconds, coming down now. We could be getting DRS soon enough in this battle. .2 seconds now. Pixels gaining seconds in every corner, essentially. Running a little bit deep there is the Ferrari. A very Bearman-esque helmet there in that Ferrari with the striking yellow. And Pixels using the Verstappen Miami helmet available on this game. Another second gained though. Pixels 3.7 now, dropping more and more. The gap is 3 seconds. Go on board with Pixels. What a perfect time to go on board with Pixels and see him have to turn out the corner. Looking low on ERS, however. The gap has increased slightly, back up to 4 seconds. That's not how you take that corner, Pixels. That's going to put a damper on it. The gap is back up to over 5 seconds. 2 laps to go now. That seems to be physically possible. But it's the fastest lap for Pixels. Just keep going now for the Aston Martin. 4 second gap. Pixelette doing everything she can. Running a little bit wide though in these fast sweeping corners onto the DRS straight of the Mistral. 2.8 seconds to gap. This could get close on the final lap. I don't think it's going to be close enough for DRS on the Mistral, but in those tight and twisty sections we could see some outrageous dive bombs. .2 seconds now. It's going to be all about whether Pixels can keep it steady while catching up. The gap under 2 seconds for the first time now. 1.3, 1.2. Pixels gaining more and more with each passing moment. They say as he loses 1.2 seconds. Could that have saved Pixelette? Through the final corner. Pixelette running wide, nearly losing it. Pixels keeping it on the black stuff. Down towards the line once again. Pixels fastest once again, 1.6 the gap. Looks like he's going to get DRS onto the Mistral. Maybe not after that. 2.5 again. Pixels just making small mistakes every time he gets close. but he is committed in these corners. 1.9. Coming to the DRS detection, it's going to be 1.6. 1.5. DRS not going to be active on the big straight. The slipstream will be 1.4. 1.5. Looking like Pixelette is using her ERS. 1.8 through the chicane. What can Pixels do? That's the closest he's been so far. 1.5. Both of them going to be dumping the battery. Through into seam curve. 1.3. 1.2. 1 second. 9/10. Pixels once again losing it in that corner. Keeps it pointed in a straight line, but that's going to give Pixelette just enough time to run away. Through the final few corners now. Breaking into the final corner. 1.1 seconds the gap. Onto the final straight. Pixelette going to equalise in France. The gap just over 1 second. So in both of the races so far, the second place starter has won the race. Will that continue into round 3 at Monza? So Pixelette takes round 2 in France, equalising the scores in the Pixel Wars. Pixels, after that drive for penalty, a brilliant drive to recover back to just 1 second behind, but not quite enough to take the victory here. So we're going to have one-shot qualifying yet again, and we aren't going to have AI, as we have much like the other races so far in Pixel Wars, in an attempt to streamline the event due to the technical issues we had earlier on today. So we will stay on board with Katie this time round. We'll stay on board with Pixelette for the qualifying lap. Go on board. Final corner now for Pixelette, down towards the line. We hold yet again, so if the trend continues, we will see Pixels on the top step of the podium. But anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. You see, Pixelette take pole for the round in Monza, in front of the Tifosi. It's going to be all about that run down into turn 1. The DRS shenanigans throughout the rest of the race, and just keeping it on the track. You see the lights counting down. 5 red lights. Green flag in Monza. The Ferrari just doesn't get away. No technical issues, just a poor start for Pixelette from pole position. Pixels taking the lead into turn 1. And Pixelette just getting it all wrong in that first chicane. That's going to allow Pixels to run away. First race tonight we've not had a jump start, but that doesn't mean misfortune still hasn't come across our drivers. Neutral line there from Pixels in the second chicane. It's just all about keeping it on the track now for the Aston Martin. I say as he dips a tyre onto the gravel. Has let Pixelette gain a couple of seconds, couple of tenths, but nothing major. It's going to be all about the upcoming laps. Of course, this track, very short, very fast, but it can also be quite unforgiving. Especially when you venture just a little bit too far beyond those white lines at the edge of the track. It's going to be Pixels leading lap 1. Thank you, Xbox, for that stutter. Pixels leads the first. Pixels gains a fair bit of time on Pixelette through the Parabolica. Will Pixels be able to keep this gap? Will Pixels be able to extend this gap? You know, I say things at the worst possible moment sometimes. As we see Pixels do what Pixelette did on the first. Thank you, Xbox. But Pixels does keep the lead. The gap does get half, however. Just got to take it steady, these two. See Pixels off track once again. Will he still keep the lead? Stays in front, but not by a lot. 1.1 second the gap. DRS enabled next lap. So as it stands, Katie not in the DRS range, but definitely stalking. So we just watch the Ferrari go through the Ascari chicane. Just feels at home seeing a Ferrari race through the tarmac of Monza. Through Parabolica now. Pixels extending the gap on Pixelette. Until I started talking. DRS enabled. Pixelette doesn't get the fastest lap, but that's not a major worry. Will Pixels take another trip into the gravel? Will Pixelette take another trip into the gravel? Pixels escapes it. Pixelette also escapes it, but Pixelette clips the curb, loses a ton of time. Gap extends back out to over 2.5 seconds. Pixels once again just needs to keep it on the track to keep this victory. He then bails in that second chicane, just locks it up too hard. Gap drops back down to under 2 seconds. The DRS straight now with past the detection zone, so DRS not going to be in effect. But Katie is within 1 second. Can they stay there? The gap extends back out. Pixels a little bit wobbly on entry. Does keep it clean. Will Pixelette have DRS down into turn 1? Will we be able to see an overtake? So we are now halfway through the Pixel Wars. Over halfway through now. Through the final corner. 1.4 the gap. Pixel's fastest lap. 1.5 the gap. 1.6 the gap. So no DRS in effect once again. Massive lock-up from Pixels though. Mistake from Pixelette as well. Both off the track. Pixelette takes the lead in Monza. That went horribly for the Aston Martin. Just couldn't keep it on the track. Locked up massively. Had to go into the run-off zone. That did catch Pixelette off guard, however. He also ran off the track. We're on board with the Aston Martin trying to catch up to the Ferrari. A little bit loose on exit there from Pixels. Gaining a lot of time, however. The gap is dropping. Pixelette off track. Bit of a stroll rejoin. Half a second down the gap. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, slipstream. Is Pixels going to go for a move? looking for it, side by side, into Parabolica. Pixels backs out, probably quite wisely. Entering the final lap of this third race. Gonna have the slipstream and the DRS this time. Pixels forcing his way to the inside, down the inside. Pixels goes into the braking zone. Braking quite early, Pixelette through. Pixels off the track, a little bit deep from Pixelette though. They're going to be side by side. Into Curva Grande. Pixels on the outside. Being forced wide, contact on the grass. Pixels still there. Is he going to go for it? Brakes early. Pixelette on the curbs, goes wide into the gravel. Spins it. Saves it though. Good save. She does lose DRS. Pixels in the gravel. Pixelette through once again. Pixels is going to have DRS. Pixelette on the grass now. Side by side yet again. Contact. Pixelette is the one who has DRS. Down the inside. Is she going to send it? Yes, she does. She's cleaned through. What a move by the Ferrari. Will the Aston Martin fight back? Only got Parabolica to go. Doesn't look quite close enough. Gonna be all about the exit. Pixels is there. Pixelette clears. Coming towards the line. Checkered flag is out. Pixelette takes round 3 to take the lead in the Pixel Wars. First time the pole sitter has won the race. But we go towards the first community voted track next time round as we go to the Principality of Monaco. We are moving to the Principality. Waiting for everyone to ready up before we go to our 1 lap of qualifying. We've had no weather interruptions yet today. Not sure whether that could take effect. Well, I think that confirms that there's no damage on. Through the final corner now. It's going to be Pixels taking pole in Monaco. Watch Kate go across the line as well. Pixels are going to have the clean run down into the box, but anything can happen. Especially at Monaco. Pixels takes pole with 17 flat. Pixelette in second with 21.3. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Green flag in Monaco. Good start for both of our drivers. Pixels takes the lead, takes the regular line, but does keep the lead into turn 1. He's going to want to win this to take the battle to the final race Track, even I don't know. Now they're already sending that gap out. As we see the Ferrari in the background, in the wall, getting loose over the bump. See down into the Lowe's hairpin. Pixelette tagging the wall slightly. I think we all know how this is going. I'm going to say, if damage was on, this would have been hilarious. We see Pixels down into the chicane. Oh, no, we don't. Well, they've really imported the flow and feel of the crappy local broadcast into the game for Monaco. We see another bit of contact with the wall for Pixelette into the track. This place you can't really run off the track, but unless you fancy going for a bit of a swim, but you can still find yourselves in those Armco barriers. See Pixels take fastest lap on that first lap, with a 4-second lead as well for the Aston Martin. You might have noticed, any time I say the gap, it immediately changes. See Pixels back in the wall. I'm going to go on board with Pixelette for a little bit. See the back end of Pixel's car. And the smoke he leaves behind when he locks up those front tyres back in the wall of the Lowe's chicane. Lowe's hairpin for Pixelette. Pixels is round! Pixels has done the Perez. Straight into the wall. That's given Pixelette the lead. That could seal the Pixel Wars. A little bit messy in the chicane though is Pixelette. It's going to be all about the Aston Martin. Can they catch up? Keep it out the wall at the back. Keep it out the wall at the swimming pool. Gain a second in those few corners alone. DRS enabled this lap. Only one DRS straight on this short Monaco track. And that is the run from Antinoge through to Saint-Devot. 6/10 the gap though. Is Pixels going to be brave enough to send it down the inside at Saint-Devot? Pixelette sets the fastest lap. Pixels does not go for the move. DRS enabled as they climb up the hill. Through into Casino Square. Both off the wall. A little bit of contact, however. Pixelette in the wall on corner exit. Into Mirabeau now. And now the Lowe's hairpin. One of the few places where you can make a move. Pixels not close enough, however. Now Mirabeau Minor. And whatever this corner's called. Into the tunnel now. 4/10 the gap. Is Pixels going to look for a move into the Nouveau chicane? Looks for it. Looks for it. Doesn't go for it. Pixelette does run a little bit off track though. Does gain the time though. Through into the back. Under half a second through the swimming pool. Pixel staying nice and close, 3/10 the gap. He's not looking for a move into Rascasse, is he? No, he's not. Antinoge not also a place for a move. So we start lap 4. A little bit of wheel spin for the Ferrari on the exit of Antinoge down towards turn 1. Not Antinoge, Saint-Devot. Pixel's got the DRS, had the fastest lap, couldn't make the move. Up the hill now, once again. Famous for when Barrichello was sparking up the hill in his Williams in 2010. Pixels right up Pixelette's back. Standing inside at Mirabeau. Contact. Pixels really slowed down. Pixelette did a little bit of a wall ride. That was brave from Pixels, and if there was damage, I think they'd both be out. Pixels needs to do it carefully, but he needs to do it quickly if he wants to keep in with a chance of winning the Pixel Wars. In the tunnel now, once again, for the penultimate time. Pixels down the inside. Brakes early, doesn't make the move. Stays close to Pixelette, however. Will go on board with the Aston Martin. Into the back. Pixelette driving defensively, driving in the middle of the track. Pixels just can't get round. Into the back of Pixelette he goes. He's trying as hard as he can. Once again, wheel spin on corner exit. Pixels with the DRS into the lead. At Monaco. Doesn't need the braking zone of Sandevot. Does drift out wide though. Takes a little bit too much curb. That's going to give Pixelette another chance. Will she send it? Pixelette in the wall. Gap is over a second. I think it's going to be all over. Gap is increasing more and more. It's going to be all about whether Pixels spins or not. If Pixels keeps his tyres pointing in the right direction, we will go to the final round. Into the Nouveau chicane, locks up the rears, keeps it stable though. Does cut the corner though. Pixels keeping it steady, the gap is 4 seconds. Through the swimming pool. Beautifully done, kept out the wall. Now Raskas. Anthony knows. DRS straight. FVPixels takes round 4. It's 2-all in the Pixel Wars. And we go to the final round of the Pixel Wars. The final round of 5. Decided by Pixelette's chat. I don't even know what track it's going to be. Just over a 5-second gap, a beautifully palindromic gap between Pixels and Pixelette. Once again, the pole shifter takes the win. It's going to be all down to the final race of 5. It has been decided. The final round of the Pixel Wars will take us to the Ardennes Forest. We are going to Spa-Francorchamps. It's going to be all about that battle. We are at the longest track in Formula 1. It'll be the longest track in the Pixel Wars to decide who takes home the crown. Pixel's currently on pole. If we watch him go through Eau Rouge and Radion. And then down the Kemmel Straight towards the chicane that I can never remember the name of. Purple sector 1 for Pixels. Good start. Going to go down through into Speaker Corner. It's not No Name anymore. Thank you, Xbox, for that stutter. Through Speaker. Graces the wall slightly. Now Puon. All about commitment. And not touching the curves too much. Through into the chicanes now. At the back end of the track. Round he goes! Where's Pixelette? Coming through that section now. Into the gravel though. This is still going to be close. Pixels keeps it ahead. Avoids the wall. Blanchimont. Taken nicely. Down towards the bus stop. Misses it entirely. It's going to be Pixelette down towards the line to take pole for the final round of 5. Katie takes the pole for the final round. Pixel's going to be alongside. It's going to be all about that run into turn one. It's going to be all about who leads on the exit. One light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights. Green flag in Spa. Horrible start for Pixelette. Pixels takes the lead. Pixels hoping to run away. Takes the crown. Brulus and Radion. Great to have the RS up through there. 1.5 seconds the gap. Big in the gravel for Pixelette and in the wall. Is that all that? Is that the final sounds of the championship battle? Did that end the war in the Ardennes? Nearly a 7-second gap and no drive through to deal with for either of them. It's going to be all about keeping the car in the right direction. Eight seconds now, the gap between the two competitors. Pixels gets it stopped this time. Sets the fastest lap as you'd expect. 9 seconds the gap now. Pixels in control of this final round. Down 2-1, entering Monaco. Will he leave Spa the champion? Just watching him down the Camel Straight. Extending the gap even further. It was an 11-second gap to win at Le Castellet all that time ago. Will he beat that record? Right now it's looking like it. A little bit deep into the chicane though, was Pixels. Can he keep it going? What about keeping it in a straight line? Another purple sector, 12 seconds to gap now. Have we seen everything to see? Through into the bus stop. Misses it entirely once again. Keeps it on the track though. Thank you, Xbox. Starting lap 3. 3 laps to go in Spa. 14 seconds now, the gap for DRS enabled. 12 seconds to gap. After that massive lock-up into the chicane. Through Eau Rouge and Radion. Running off track slightly. Gap under 12 seconds. Thank you for the stutters, Xbox. Gets it slowed down a little bit too much. The game thought he'd stopped. Throwing the yellow flags out there briefly. I thought he'd dropped it under braking. No, just taking it extra steady. He knows he has a 10-second gap. He knows he could be careful. Down into P1 now. Little bit of a drift there from Pixels. Brilliant save. Just keeping the car on the track. That's all he needs to do. Through into the final sector once again. Taps the grass. For good luck, of course. Through into Blanchimont. Into the bus stop. Coming to 2 laps to go here. Another rear lockup. Another yellow flag. Pixels still keeping it mostly in control though. 2 laps to go in the Pixel Wars. Two all entering this race. It was a decider. Seems to have been decided on lap 1. Anything can happen. Up the hill. Down the Kemmel Straight. Not long left for Pixels. A little bit of drifting. In the chicane. Kept it on the track though. Kept it in the right direction. Didn't do it that time. Lock up of the rear. Gonna keep the lead though, but that gap is going to drop. Through P1. Got on the curb a little bit too much. Kept it going. Pixels. Making a few mistakes, knowing what's up for grabs. Touches the gravel once again. Pixelette round. And that will be the best thing Pixels has seen all day. Seeing that gap grow once again, up to 14 seconds. Into the bus stop for the penultimate time. Another massive lockup. He's going to be starting the final lap in Spa for the Pixel Wars. A little bit loose on exit of La Source. Running down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. We've faced the technical difficulties so far. Pixels on the Kemmel Straight for the final time. 14-second lead. Runs off track slightly. The gap remains stable. Down towards X and Speaker. Pixels keeping it on the track. Drifting slightly. Through Speaker. In the wall. No damage. If there was, that would have just given it to Pixelette. Through P1 now. On the curb, doesn't spin. All about keeping it on the track, in the right direction. Across the final sector split. Into the final sector now, off this race. 14-second gap. Flying now. Towards the fast sweepers. Through Blanchimont. Into the bus stop. We go on board with him. Braking heavily. Getting it stopped. Through the final corner now. FVPixels takes round 3 and takes the Pixel Wars. Go on board with Pixelette a commendable runner-up. Won in Monza and France, but can't seal the deal. Brilliant job by everyone involved. Pixels takes drive of the day and the Pixel Wars title.